hear it, but it's always there, moving beneath the city, through its drains, its lakes, its rivers. A slow, silent flood of chemicals, of solvents, of poisons that were never meant to be in water or in blood. They call it a river, but the Musi River is no longer alive. Once a lifeline of Hyderabad's soul, now it flows thick with chemicals, sewage, and silence.
It's not a danger but a disaster. This is a disaster, and I mean it.
Pills are supposed to cure us. Now they're taking our lives. For over 30 years, industries that make the medicines we take have been leaking their waste into the river we forgot to protect. It didn't happen all at once. It came slowly. First, the fish started dying. Then the crops. Then the children. And then the silence.
నేను 15 సంవత్సరాలు ఉన్నప్పుడు ఈ ఊళ్ళే మంచి నీళ్ళు వచ్చేవి, మంచి నీళ్ళు. ఆ నీళ్లు మేము తాగేది. ఆ నీళ్ళల్లో ఒక 20 రకాల చేపలు ఉండేవి, 20 రకాల చేపలు. బర్రెలు నీళ్ళు తాగేది, గొర్రెలు నీళ్ళు తాగేది. మేము ఇక్కడనే బావి దగ్గర వచ్చి ఏ మూసి నీళ్ళు మేము తాగేది. క్రమేణా హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి మురికి స్టార్ట్ అయినప్పుడు ఇక నీళ్లు ఇక మాకు అవసరం లేకుండా పోయినాయి. వాళ్ళు కొంటలేరు, మూసి నీళ్లు మాకు అక్కడ రావాలి.
मूसी नदी जो है वो तेलंगाना का एक्सक्लूसिव नदी है, ओके, एंड इट इज ए एक्सक्लूसिव तेलंगाना की नदी है और 250 किलोमीटर करीब से तेलंगाना में ही ओरिजिनेट होती है, तेलंगाना में ही एंड होती है. वाडीपल्ली पे जाके वो कृष्णा नदी से मिल जाती है, ट्रिब्यूटरी है कृष्णा की. तो जहां से ये हैदराबाद में जो 60 किलोमीटर करीब जो बहता है ये हाईली पोल्यूटेड है, टॉक्सिकली पोल्यूटेड स्ट्रेच बोल के सीपीसीबी सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड खुद इसको बोल चुका है फ्रॉम मोर देन डिकेड एगो.
96, 97, 98లో వాస్తవానికి ఆ నీళ్లు తేటగా వచ్చేది. వికారాబాద్ అనంతగిరి గుట్టల నుండి పుట్టిన ఈ మూసీ నది 2000 సంవత్సరం వచ్చేసరికి పూర్తిగా కాలకోట విషంగా తయారు కావడం అనేది జరిగింది. దానివల్ల ఇక్కడ ప్రాంతాల వారికి ఎన్ని గ్రామాలు అంటే ఈ వికారాబాద్ నుంచి వచ్చే ఈ మూసీ నది ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో కృష్ణాలో కలుస్తుంది. మళ్ళీ వాడపల్లి దగ్గర ఇది కృష్ణాలో కలుస్తుంది.
Because what do you say when the river that fed your village starts giving birth defects? When the water you drank leaves your wife with 4 miscarriages.
అదే విధంగా ఎవరైతే ఇక్కడ పరిశ్రమలు అయితే పెట్టాలని అనుకున్నారో ఆ పరిశ్రమలు అనేటిది విచ్చలవిడిగా ఇక్కడ పరిశ్రమలను అనేది సిటీలో పెట్టడం తోటి అది కూడా వాళ్ళు ట్రీట్మెంట్ చేసి వదలాలే. గర్భస్రావాలు మహిళలకు
I would rather say that not to the extent of an atom bomb, but yes, to some extent, such a kind of disaster can enter into the ladies or the pregnant women. They can cross to the children, causing congenital deformities. Now, the birth defects. These are all associated. The dangerous chemicals like cadmium, lead, mercury, these are deadly, dangerous. How can a mother, we just can't expect a mother to carry a baby with such a kind of an exposure. Now, this has got a serious implications of the next generation dangers of the society.
They knew this would happen. They let it. And it's still happening.
కొంతమంది పర్యావరణవేత్తలు ఇదే యూనివర్సిటీ పురుషోత్తం రెడ్డి గారు, బాబురావు గారు, నరసింహారెడ్డి గారు వీళ్ళంతా హైకోర్టు తర్వాత సుప్రీంకోర్టు ఆశ్రయించడంతో 2007లో సుప్రీంకోర్టు దీని మీద ఈ వచ్చే ఎఫ్లుయెంట్స్ ను ట్రీట్మెంట్ చేసి తర్వాత దాన్ని శుద్ధి చేసి గ్రౌండ్ వాటర్ పొల్యూట్ కావద్దని చెప్పి అప్పుడు ఒక 350 కంపెనీలకు 17 కోట్ల రూపాయల కాంపెన్సేషన్ వేసింది. తర్వాత అప్పటి నుంచి హుసేన్ సాగర్ తర్వాత దాని ఫ్లో కాగానే తర్వాత మూసీలోకి వచ్చి ఈ మూసీ రంగారెడ్డి జిల్లా నల్గొండ జిల్లా మొత్తము మూసీ దగ్గర 135 కిలోమీటర్లు కలిసి సాగర్లో వాడపల్లి దగ్గర అక్కడ కలుస్తుంది. అక్కడి వరకు ఈ పొల్యూటెడ్ వాటర్ పోతుంది.
It eats into the cell. It enters the womb. It poisons the soil. It flows from labs into drains, into bodies. And nobody stopped it.
ఇది మేము పొలాల్లో వాడతాంగా ఆ నీళ్ళకి వస్తుంది.
ఇది ఎప్పటి నుంచి ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది నీకు తెలిసిన?
బీపిడి పెడితే ఆ బీపిడికి వచ్చిన గత్యాంతరం లేక ఇక కొనుక్కొచ్చుకున్నది అది తింటే కొద్దిగా రోగాల బారిన పడుతుంది.
When the river foamed, they looked away. When the wells dried, they blamed the rain. When the people fell sick, they filed reports. The Telangana State Pollution Control Board was blind. What do you do when you fight for justice for 15 years and the Pollution Control Board tells you the water is normal?
We started approaching district authorities, regional pollution control boards and state member secretary who is a designated authority who have authorities to monitor this entire industries. We approached and we fed up because there is no action. There is no result. Even people, if you visit to local villages, if you start questioning, then simply they say that చాలా మంది quote unquote చాలా మంది వస్తుంటారు, వీడియోలు తీసుకుంటారు, ఇంటర్వ్యూలు తీసుకుంటారు, కానీ మాకేం న్యాయం జరగదు. Simply say that because they are habituated to that kind of atmosphere, that kind of initiatives. They are not expecting any change because they are became familiar to this kind of visits and all. They know that the moment you visit to village and you start ask question regarding pollution, this is a routine case. These people come and they'll take us samples and they'll go off.
You don't have to see blood to know something has been murdered. The Musi was once alive. Now, she carries corpses of unborn children, decaying fields, and abandoned livelihoods.
In the backyard, Telangana, while healing the world, taking medicine of the world, it is becoming sick. And how it is becoming sick? If you look at the pharma industry's place, whether it is a Dundigal or Bollaram or all these places, you will see that every other, all the leading firms, whether it is Hetero or SMS or any other firm, you take the name, or Dr. Reddy's also, if you take the name, you will find that actually they are letting out openly. When we visited there, it was in the open, including the Ramki hazardous plant that is actually there to treat all these people's waste. In its outside its compound wall, you will find all the toxic pollutants and the colored and heavily damaging the ground.
This is not the failure of science. This is not the failure of conscience. And the cost is being paid by the powerless. By mothers, by farmers, by breath. How long before we run out of excuses? How long before we say enough?
In Srikakulam, where all these big time guys, Divi's Labs, Aurobindo, everybody. Aurobindo, just one plant, and neighboring village, just adjacent village, there's no water. They have no water to drink. It's all contaminated. And there I have seen young people who are around 19 start looking like 50s. And multiple abortions. And we see the same stories we hear in Patancheru area.
Aurobindo Pharma Limited claims its Telangana API units operate under zero liquid discharge. That its effluents are scrubbed, monitored and recycled. That its emissions are captured, its solar panels shine and its environmental impact is minimal. But evidence says otherwise. November 2024. Villagers in Jarcheria accused Aurobindo of releasing untreated effluents, damaging soil, groundwater and fish health. The National Green Tribunal's order OA number 426 of 2018 directly names Aurobindo among the primary polluters of the Musi River, along with other major bulk drug units. It is cited as a source of active pharmaceutical ingredients, residues of antibiotics, solvents and chemicals now entrenched in the Musi's flow.
All these are pharma giants, which the names of which I took now. They are all polluting the ground aquifers, the soil, the air, the surface water bodies, and their solid waste is found across everywhere. And wherever they enter and across kilometers away, you will find that they are doing these violations, which is not acceptable to us as people.
NATCO Pharma promised safe drinking water to rural communities. But in Mekaguda village, the Sarpanch's complaint told another story. Inspections in October and November 2021 revealed open storage of residues, chemical spillages and pharmaceutical waste left in the open. The Tungakunta lake nearby sits at risk. By late 2023, NATCO Pharma TSPCB show cause notices, warnings that their negligence could warrant closure.
Pharma lobby is so politically powerful that no government has acted against them. And people slowly, they just moved away from the hesitation because they couldn't face them. The strength is not there. The political support is not there. Public support is not there. People who are not suffering are not sympathizing with the people who are actually suffering.
In Gollepalli and Nimali Kalwa, villagers went to court accusing DV's lab of polluting fields and air. The Telangana High Court asked for answers. None came. DV spent just 58% of their CSR obligations in financial year 2023-24. The rest was rolled over. Meanwhile, their name stayed in PILs tagged as polluters of the very river they once depended on.
See, violation, smaller violation, bigger violations, we will have on a regular basis every month 2 or 3 cases. And wherever there are 2 or 3, wherever these cases coming, we call them and haul them up, and we have the task force interaction where an external committee and also experts sit with them and look at each of the aspects of their pollution, whether it is air pollution or water pollution or water nuisance, and we give them notice and also tell them what is to be done.
శివలాల్ నాయక్ అని ఎస్టీ లంబాడాలో మేము ఇక్కడ మూసి నీళ్ళదంటే చాలా ప్రాబ్లం ఉంటుంది. పంటలు వేసినా కూడా వస్తాయి, చేను బాగా వస్తుంది, ఒడ్లు కూడా పంట బాగా వస్తుంది, దిగుబడి బాగా వస్తుంది. కానీ ఆ పడిన ఒడ్లు బియ్యము తింటేందుకు కూడా మన మనసుకి ఆహారం మంచిగా ఉండదు. ఈ వండిన అన్నం అప్పటిదప్పుడే తింటేనే రుచికరం. ఈ పొద్దుగాల వండిన అన్నం పొద్దుకి తిందామంటే అన్నం మెత్తగా అవుతుంది, పాడైపోతుంది. అది కూరగాయలు కూడా అట్లా కూలిపోతాయి. ఈ తాగదామంటే నీళ్ళు కూడా లేవు, మొత్తం ఫిల్టర్ నీళ్ళు ఏంది అక్కడనే రాదు. అన్నంలో వండినా కూడా అవే ఫిల్టర్ నీళ్ళు పోయాలి. మిషన్ దగ్గర నీళ్ళు వస్తాయి కదా, ఆ నీళ్ళు వచ్చి కొంత సాయం అయింది మాకు. ఇప్పుడు
మాకు ఏం ఉపయోగపడలేదు, కానీ మురికి నీళ్ళు ఇవి నా పొలాలకే వాడుకుంటాం మేము, ఏమిటికి వాడలేము. మాకు ఈ వాసన వస్తుంది, మాకు ఈ వాసనలో ఇట్లా అవే వాడుకుంటాం ఎక్కడ గతాలు లేక. అదే మేము వాడేది.
ఇప్పుడు మరి మీరు తాగే నీళ్ళు ఎక్కడ నుంచి తాగుతారు?
తాగే నీళ్ళు ఇంటికా అయితే ఫిల్టర్ నీళ్ళు తెచ్చుకుంటూ తాగుతాం మేము.
The world heals, but someone pays. The cure leaves a corpse, and the river remembers.
I once read one article in, I think from somewhere in Chicago type of area, which says that somebody has written, you check where, if you are buying your antacid tablets, you check where from it is coming. If it is coming from Hyderabad area, then you should know how much damage it has done to the people's health there. So be considerate about what drug what tablet you are buying. So that is from the consumer side they have generated that kind of awareness. So that means they are saying that the drug you are using is already harming some other persons. So it may be serving your purpose. So using the drug which is harming others is morally incorrect. That is what they were trying to say.
కృష్ణాలో కలుస్తుంది, మళ్ళీ వాడపల్లి దగ్గర ఇది కృష్ణాలో కలుస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ లక్షల ఎకరాలు ఈ మూసి కింద సాగుబడి అవుతున్నది. ఇంకా పెరుగుకుంటూ పోతూనే ఉన్నది. రెండు దిక్కుల మూసీ నదికి ఇరువైపులా ఆయకట్టు పెరుగుకుంటూ పోతున్నది. అందులో ఒకప్పుడు గుట్టల్లోనూ వికారాబాద్ అనంతగిరి గుట్టలకి వెళ్ళి స్వచ్ఛమైన నీరు వచ్చేది. హైదరాబాద్ పెరగడంతో డ్రైనేజ్ వాటరు కలవడంతో అదేవిధంగా ఎవరైతే ఇక్కడ పరిశ్రమలు అయితే పెట్టాలని అనుకున్నారో,
there used to be a flock of buffaloes going into the Hussain Sagar, and in Uppal area there used to be a lot of dairy business. They were all growing grass there on the banks of the Musi, and the buffaloes are milk giving buffaloes also. They were going into those tanks and Musi River. But now I doubt that they are doing that kind of an activity, because that means only poison. That is not milk. It will be poison. And the buffaloes also will die very quickly. They spend so much money buying it as a business, to milk business. They cannot afford that.
Even local pollution control board, they took samples and they say that everything normal. If everything normal, then how these fishes are dying, how this groundwater contaminating. If you go in dig water will be in yellow color, and if you go and if you see the local ponds, you can easily identify how the range of contamination. And we given whatever the supportive to the concern. Recently also there are around 18 to 20 buffaloes died because of consumption of contamination water, and they considered it as an industrial fault, and openly local MLA they issued compensation to the farmers.
This is a disposal truck from the Pharma company, which is going to dump the waste in Musi River. There are no signs, no licenses, no supervision. Just a routine perfected by years of dumping untreated chemicals.
When the PCB or ministry is giving permissions, they are not asking the companies about the source of the technology. How some technologies maybe you can overlook. But even in technologies which are monopoly of the few companies, they cannot produce that chemical without licensing from somebody among those few consultants. They are simply giving permissions here without even asking how are you sourcing your technology, what are the raw material consumptions and utility consumptions, etc. for this particular product you make. No such question. These people put some numbers, they never question those numbers.
The NGT called Musi a priority 1 polluted river, mandated all STPs and CTPs be operational by March 2021. But deadlines passed, sewage treatment gaps remained, beautification projects were launched, but pollution remained untouched.
I don't think there is any real regulation in our. It's only a sham. It gives an impression that there is a regulation, but there is no real regulation that is going on. It's just the show must go on. That is the unfortunate situation. So what the CETPs are one way of saying, for example, landfill CETPs are out of sight, out of mind business. So they say, see, there is a pollution generated. They have to find a political solution for it. They say, oh, we are creating CETPs, every pollution is treated, and we are treating it to discharge standards. Who is verifying the discharge standards? Who is certifying the discharge standards? Where is the role for the civil society in that? Where is the audit of that? Nothing. Simply it's going, nobody is, if everything is discharged as per the norms, then why is it all the water bodies are contaminated? Where from is the pollution coming?
I have a question that we can see in a scratch on your forehead. So, what did you fought with anyone or someone attacked you during this stay?
This has happened in the year of 2013 for raising a question against this contamination and illegals at a village level. These people, they never come forward. They stood behind and they provoke the local politicians, and they will make this kind of physical assault kind of thing. The attack happened in the year 2013, if I'm not wrong, and I filed a complaint at State Human Rights, and even I wrote a letter to National Human Rights, and I filed and a FIR been lodged, and over a period of time the case is in judiciary.
That is only published literature is there already. The German professors came and they actually collected the samples. They found that there was ciprofloxacin, so much ciprofloxacin in that water body that is equivalent to what the entire Sweden country consumes, ciprofloxacin. So much, they say if anybody drinks or if anybody eats any fish or something like that, they will also get the same resistance. And superbug was found. They actually made a documentary showing that one person affected in Hyderabad being treated in a hospital here because of infection from superbug, and another person who came to Hyderabad as a tourist, he was infected. He went to Germany and he got treated there. There they saved his life, but the young person who was affected here in Hyderabad at a very young age, he died. They could not save him because they don't have the right medicine for saving him. That documentary is there available, made by a team of professors.
We are literally feeding the common man a disease, and this is a disaster.
How a river became a drain, how a government looked away, and how lives were lost, not in explosions or fires, but slowly, invisibly, through water and air and time. This is not a scene from a dystopian film. This is the Musi River.
Alright, so that was our special program of WION investigation on Musi River of Telangana that has turned into a stream of toxic liquids and effluents. Our investigation team in fact reached out to all the pharmaceutical companies that villagers and environmentalists have raised objections to. So as you can see, we've written to Pharma asking for a response to the accusation by the local communities and what it has to say on NGT's findings, naming the company amongst the polluters of the Musi River. We've also asked for a response on the serious concerns raised by the local communities and courts regarding the Divis Laboratories operations in Telangana. We also reached out to Pharma as well, seeking clarification on the recent reports and the regulatory findings concerning its environmental practices. Now, WION hasn't received any reaction or response from these companies till the time of the airing of the show. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.